Welcome into Sports Tonight. Emily Gagnon here with Lee Smith. We just got back from a very cool event, a luncheon, the Corky Kell Dave Hunter Classic. It's been renamed this season. It's coming up next week. So high school football in the state of Georgia, just
It's
over a
here.
week away, kicking off Wednesday. 4 days of games, Lee.
4 days of fun.
Wednesday through Saturday. So 11 games, 4 different locations. It ends on that Saturday at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. We heard from some of the best players in the state today and some of the teams playing in the Classic. And I think the overwhelming consensus is players cannot wait to play at the Benz. I forget how much of a treat it is for high school athletes to play there.
Oh yeah, it's awesome. You got a world class facility and it's 20 minutes down the road. Like who else can say that? I know I certainly couldn't. I was lucky enough to play in old Bryant Denny Stadium in Birmingham, Alabama one time, but that's nowhere near Mercedes-Benz. So
Yeah, but at the time it was probably
it was like
an
a dream
overwhelming
come true.
feeling,
It was
yeah.
awesome. It was awesome. So I can only imagine what these athletes are feeling right now when they get to go to, probably, I don't know, in my opinion, one of the top 5 stadiums probably in the world. So it's pretty cool. But yeah, a whole lot of good high school football on deck for everybody. And we got 7, 8 days before football finally starts.
It's here.
Who can wait?
I can't wait.
I can't wait.
And kids don't want to play against their own teammates anymore. They want to
No.
go up against other teams, other athletes. They want to show what they have. Lee, I think you're going to agree with me when I say this. Buford receiver and safety KJ Bolden, he just committed to FSU on Saturday, so fresh off of a commitment to Florida State in
Yep.
Tallahassee. He's so excited, and he gets to play with Dylan Raiola, the number 1 quarterback in the class of 2024, the UGA commit, the next coming of God from what we hear. He gets to catch passes from this
Okay.
guy, and did he not say that he already knows the playbook inside and out? So if you're a UGA fan, just wait till you hear this. Dylan Raiola, brand new to the team, already knows the playbook according to his receiver, KJ Bolden, and he said that he threw him a pass of 60 to 70 yards, and he had never seen anything like it. So he said that personally he wants to own the record for, what did he say, touchdowns and receiving yards?
Touchdown, I think, and receiving yards. Yep.
Yeah, for that
Buford.
program for
Yep.
Buford. And he's like, since I have Dylan here, I mean,
I could probably set it.
right. So right now, initial reports out of Buford is that Dylan Raiola is the real deal. I mean, we won't see them play until over a week from now, but he said he thinks, or he believes, he could get that 3rd ring. Run off in the sunset to Tallahassee with 3 state championship
That's
rings.
pretty impressive, right? Is three
Yes.
is 3 out of 4 good? I don't know. 75%.
pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
But I love the fact that he seemed super optimistic about the upcoming season, given the fact that Dylan Raiola is at quarterback, and UGA fans will be able to start watching him even closer now because he's no longer in Phoenix, in Arizona. He'll be right here in fans' backyards. I mean, I would love, we should actually look into this. We should look into how many Georgia fans will start going to those games who have no affiliation with Buford,
Oh,
just to
it's
watch and
gonna
support
be
Dylan.
full.
Don't you think? Don't you think that place will
every
be packed?
Friday night it's gonna be rocking.
Just because of him.
Well, yeah. The fact that you're a dominant, pretty much by this point you're a nationwide powerhouse. So obviously adding the one piece that everyone wants to be in a Georgia uniform for as a quarterback, that's gonna draw a lot of attention. And I hope their high school field can hold a ton of people. Because get ready, folks. You thought the last 2 or 3 seasons when they won championships were good. This is going to be a whole different level.
And just to add, Buford is not playing in the Corky Kell Dave Hunter Classic, but KJ was part of the Super 11.
Yep.
The best 11 players in the state of Georgia were invited to the luncheon, and he's part of those 11. So he's a senior, like I said, committed to FSU, going to Tallahassee next season. The goal this season is to win a 3rd ring for him, and he'll be playing with Dylan Raiola. Pretty cool. We got to talk to a whole bunch of athletes today, really. and I don't want to sell you out here, Lee, but you were just like in a room full of athletes, kids, and you were like, man, I forget, right? Like you forget how good.
High school football in Georgia is.
Yeah, like you
Yeah,
forget the
yeah.
talent because they were just naming kids left and right that were in the room
We're-
going to these
we're-
monster
We're walking out of the
programs.
room and they're like, so and so, 4-star wide receiver, ranked number whatever,
Going to
committed to
Arkansas.
Arkansas, and that
You
that
don't even think
that
about it.
person wasn't included in the Super 11. So I was like, well, how crazy is that you can still go to Arkansas and like you're not like a top 11 in the room, which is it's insane
Yeah.
to me. The amount of talent in this state for high school football
Stacked.
is crazy.
Yeah. So it was a really cool way to start our Monday. At least I thought so.
Oh, we talked to Sammy Brown too, linebacker out of oh my gosh, what high school? Jefferson High School?
I'm not sure, but he's going to Clemson.
Yeah, he's going to Clemson. Georgia recruited him heavily, but he chose Clemson. But guy's a freak athlete. All the recruiting services have him, if not the number one, the number two linebacker in the entire country. So it's just crazy to be in a room full of like that much talent.
And these kids were sharp when we interviewed them.
Oh yeah,
They were
they're
super sharp.
years ahead of like.
Even just a few years ago, talking to high school kids, it
Oh.
wasn't like that. But
Yeah.
now it's like they're marketing themselves. They know NIL's a thing. It's high school and college ball have become such a production, and kids know that they can make money now. So learning how to talk in front of cameras and talk to reporters and all that stuff benefit them. As soon as a company sees you at such a young age, be able to address the media in such a way, I mean, that would be automatic dollars right there.
for sure.
But really quickly, the Quickie Cal Classic, Wednesday, August 16th, day one at Carlton. In Marietta. So Marietta is
Yep,
the first
Marietta.
day of
Yep.
games.
Yep, yep,
North
yep, yep.
Atlanta versus Johns Creek.
Marietta, they've got Rome and here.
And then Kell versus Parkview. Thursday's games, Roswell, that's Archer versus North Forsyth and West Forsyth. I can't speak.
Forsyth.
Yeah, versus Cherokee Bluff. The next day, Rome, as Lee said, on that Friday. And 2 games there. And then Saturday, like I said, 4 games at the Benz to wrap it all up. The night game is Walton versus Grayson. That's a 7 o'clock kick, which is usually 9 by the time all those games are done.
It will go on late.
Yeah. And I think I mentioned like the kids being so excited to play where the pros play on Sundays, but also what's cool about it again this year, Lee, is that those state championships are back at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. So these teams want to start and end the season in the exact same place.
Yep, they've been playing at Georgia State the last couple of years, and so now they're going to get back to the Benz.
And there's a reason for that, and that's because of instant replay. And what happened last season, and we're not going to talk about that because that was very, very...
Sandy Creek is still pissed, by the way.
That was awful. It was the officiating absolutely awful. All right, before we continue to talk football, let's break it up a little bit with some Braves chitter chatter. Braves lose their series against the Cubs in Chicago. What's up with that?
There we go. There we go.
Like,
Sorry. I had to, hey, trying to multitask. I'm trying to move the little counter over here, too. So, yeah, they dropped the series 2 games. They won, they lose Friday, they win Saturday, and they lose Sunday. And last night, Dansby Swanson had the go-ahead RBI against the Braves. Who would have figured that? But Matt Olson is still, he's just tearing it up. 453 feet. He had a home run in the 3rd inning, I think, and solo home run. So only had 1 run, but whatever. But dude is on pace to just absolutely like smash home run records for the Braves. He's somehow still behind Ohtani though. He's got 39. Ohtani has 40.
and Ohtani takes like rest.
Yes,
So it's very interesting
Yes.
that man is that good.
but
Matt Olson's killing it. Wait, you said he's number 1 in RBI still, right?
yeah.
But 2 in home runs.
Yeah.
Okay. Is our man still leading the league in strikeouts?
Oh, well, I don't know about
I
that.
think we should keep up with him on that. We every time we come on here to talk about Braves, we should keep up with those 3 records. Why are you laughing?
Gotta. Yeah. I guess you gotta throw the bad in with the good.
Is he?
Let
I
me
think
s-
he might still be.
Well, I don't know.
The strikeouts are right there, Lee. Do you need me to look it up?
No, I got it.
Okay.
No, yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
I'm trying to find it out.
But another good thing. Okay, listen. The weekend was bad, right? They lost the series. They
Yeah.
won only the game. Game 1 of 3. They crushed the Cubs that game though, 8-0. Max Fried is back.
Yes.
So we did not mention that, and I thought it was very appropriate for us to have to say that. He's back.
Max Fried
The
looked pretty
ace
good, too.
Is back. It was obvious to me, I don't know if you felt this way, Lee, that he obviously got healthy, but also the Braves did not rush him back in.
Right.
Like he looked like he was poised, he was ready
Yep.
to be back out there. It looked like he had command. So for me, I was happy to see that because if you're the Braves, you've been waiting for your ace to come back. He comes back and he looks great, and he helps win
Well,
the
and
game.
they also didn't have to rush him back because they know they have the best offense in all of baseball. So that
Right.
usually helps out when you can just rely on the bats and you don't have to have great pitching. You just have to have good enough pitching. But yeah, it's good to see that Max is back, and maybe sometime in September Kyle Wright comes back too. You never know. But if you can get both of those guys back, you got a solid chance to make a deep run, even without the offense. I mean, because I know Bryce Elder kind of got rocked, and then
Like a baby.
and then Charlie Morton got rocked both this weekend. So they got to get better pitching out of those guys, but it is good to see Max back.
All right, so now I have the stats up, Lee. So Matt Olson, though, he's right on Shohei Ohtani's heels.
Yeah.
Ohtani 40 home runs on the season at number 1, and then Olson's got 39.
yeah.
And the closest to that is Alfonso at 3 with 31. So I would imagine those two are going to stay 1 and 2 for a while if they continue to play the way they have. And Matt Olson hasn't slowed down at all. I mean, he's been
No.
hot week after
No.
week after week after week. And yes, my man Spencer Strider still leads the league in strikeouts with 208. The closest is Gossman with 177. So it's going to
crazy.
take a minute for anybody to catch up to Strider as long as he keeps throwing the heat, man.
Or 2 crazy awesome Strider games.
Yeah. But they start a 3-game set at the Pittsburgh Pirates starting today. So I don't know, Lee. You were talking about records earlier. They still have the best record in baseball.
They are tied now with the most wins. Technically, they have the best winning percentage. Yes.
Yeah.
The
And-
Orioles and the Braves both have 70 wins. The Orioles have 42 losses, and the Braves only have 39 losses. So they have the best winning percentage. So technically, yes.
We like that. So they're at the Mets. Oh, no, I apologize. Okay,
Yeah.
they're at the Pirates for a 4-game set, guys. I said 3. 4-game
4
set.
games, and then
And then
go to the
4
Mets.
at the Mets.
Yeah.
Then the Yankees come to town. And then the Giants come to town. So, these teams.
Other than the Mets, I mean,
Decent. So, let's have some fun the next couple weeks. But for sure, for this, next week, Pirates, Mets on the road. So we'll continue to talk about the Braves as
by
they
the way,
go.
I just want to throw this Matt Olson thing out.
Yeah.
Dude's got 97 RBI.
Yeah.
97.
Yeah.
He needs 3 more to get triple
100.
digits.
Yeah. Crazy.
And the next closest is Garcia
Right.
in Texas with 89.
89.
That's crazy.
It is crazy. But, I mean, good. That was, okay, let's think
And
about
then
it real quick.
Ohtani is the next with 82. So Olson has 15 more RBI than Ohtani.
Alex
and one less home
Anthopoulos,
run.
would you think that's his best pickup so far? Would you think that's the best thing he's done since he has become GM? I'm trying to think. It was ugly, though. Listen, in the moment, guys, it was ugly because it meant Freddie Freeman was no longer playing for the Braves. And then you heard all these stories about, how it went down.
The best free agent or the best?
Just the best player he's been able to bring in. Doesn't matter. Period.
Because what Michael's doing in center field is pretty special too.
And he signed him right away.
And
right?
Strider.
Okay.
I'll still say Olson. I mean, if he plays like this, yeah, it's Olson. I don't really think it's that close, actually.
Best trade, right? It was a trade, wasn't it?
Yeah. I'm talking about somebody that wasn't brought in through brought up through the Braves
system.
organization.
Yeah, through the farm system. All right. Well, Lee, I like it. Matt Olson, keep doing your thing. Spencer Strider, stick with it. I think there's a lot of good with the Braves right now. A lot of good. It has been good for a while now.
A lot of
Very
good.
spoiled in Atlanta.
A lot of good, but guess who else is spoiled?
Oh, great. A lot of great. A lot of good to a lot of great. Week
Everyone
2.
in Athens is spoiled.
Week 2 of UGA football camp on deck. Tomorrow we get to hear from defensive coaches in Athens, which is great. Lee, I want to put this out there for people who don't know. Like with the Falcons, we get to hear from their defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator, special teams coordinator once a week throughout the season. They make them available on certain days. We get to talk to them if we have questions. They don't get to hide in their offices. They come out, they speak, they answer questions, they go home.
Very
Great.
different from the college format.
Correct. During the season, we do not ever hear from offensive, defensive, special teams, running backs, whatever it is. We don't get to hear from any coaches at all until bowl season when the bowls make them available to us.
Yep.
So we go however many months without hearing from, like last year, Todd Monken. We would have loved to hear from him. Never did. But, Georgia is making the coaches available tomorrow. They do this every once in a while during the preseason. So you can ask questions. We'll hear hopefully from Muschamp, Will Muschamp, who's like one of the best to speak to because obviously he was the head coach. He gets it. And he's just like a truthful guy. You like to hear what he has
Charismatic,
to say.
outgoing,
Yeah, so I think we'll get a lot of insight from the defensive coaches who, by the way, like you said, spoiled. UGA fans are spoiled, but you guys are going to continue to be spoiled on defense because you look at that defense and you're like, what? Like, who is going to be able to get through these guys? Kirby and his staff continue to recruit, and these players go out on the field and play their butts off. And the reason why they do that is because their head coach, Kirby Smart, was like, what? Do you want to say I want to ask you, Lee, was he the best defensive coordinator come through Alabama? Top 3?
Yes.
All right. So, defensive mind, one of the best defensive minds there is out there is coaching that squad. On offense, Kirby, that's the key right there, is Kirby has to have a mastermind on offense because he can't do that part of it. But the defensive part of it, he's got that
I
handled.
don't know if he can't do it, but
Well, no, obviously Kirby's a genius when it comes to football. And we've talked about this before, and people might
if
not
you
know
have somebody
this.
else worry about the offense, well, you can just handle the defense.
Correct, but that's part of it. And I thought that's what was missing the first few years with Kirby is that he didn't have. I'm not like saying anything bad about the offensive coordinators before Monken, but like Monken came in and everything changed. And if we want to know what changed in Stetson Bennett, like if we want to have a real argument about how did Stetson change, it was because Todd Monken coached Stetson Bennett. And he had to tell him what to do, and he was a teacher, and he learned those lessons. And that was the difference to me in Stetson Bennett was the offensive coordinator. They spoke the same language at some point.
I mean, it also helps being a lot older and then staying in the same system.
Well, it was a different system once Monken got there, Lee.
Yeah, but he at least knew
The air raid offense,
Yes.
quote unquote.
But yeah.
But yeah, what?
He got one more quarterback.
I know, Lee. Sometimes this is heartbreaking to talk about.
I don't know.
Well, yeah, for anybody who's watching us, who hasn't watched us before, who's listening to us, Lee went to
It's just-
Alabama, huge Bama fan. This hurts his heart every once in a while.
I'm
And
used
so
to
he
my
just gets
team
discouraged.
reloading and dominating every year. I'm not used to my team losing and not winning national championships.
And it's okay,
It's
Lee.
been 3 years. We're officially in a drought. It's been 3 years.
Take a deep breath, and we're gonna get through this. But week 2 of camp, it's here. Like I said, we'll hear from defensive coaches tomorrow. We'll bring that to you. But it's a great time. It has been a great time to be a Dog. I expect them. We'll just talk about the defense to be fully capable in every way possible to get it done.
Well, especially because you
from
don't know which.
D-line
Well,
to
you don't know. You
linebackers.
don't know what you have on offense, so that defense is going to probably have to carry at least the first month of the season, if not the whole season.
That is the one scary part is like Carson Beck has been there, but we don't really know, right?
Yeah.
He's never started a game. We've seen very limited minutes from him in actual games. So, and like, okay, and I don't want to say this, I don't want to jinx anything, and coaches would be so mad for me to say this, but what if Carson Beck is that guy, then he gets hurt? And then you got Brock Vandegrift and Gunnar Stockton who have to hold up their end of the deal. When, by the way, neither of them have ever taken a single snap in college football, not ever.
Yeah.
Right? Like they were great. Like, what, were they both 5-star?
I would have, yes.
If they weren't, they were
yes.
4. They came in with all the hype, but just so we're clear here, if Carson gets hurt, you're going to have a quarterback, dog fans, that's never ever played a down of college ball in a real game. Brock got some during spring ball. And it was so funny when I talked to him after the game. He's like, yeah, like this is the first time I get to hear the stadium while I'm out there, actually having to work. So we'll see what happens. But if Carson Beck stays healthy, from what we hear from the team, he can really throw the ball like a beautiful passer. Very good in the pocket. And then if they want to, do a little bit of running, they want to do some quarterback keepers, they're going to have to keep or put Brock Vandagriff in the game because from what we hear, Carson doesn't run with the ball that much. Yeah. Maybe look at him like a Matt Ryan. I'm not comparing them, but it sounds like he's more of a Matt Ryan.
Pocket
can really
passer,
throw the ball.
A little bit of mobility.
Just a little. Because, Matt every once in a while would take off. And it was funny every time, but, he got some chunks.
Because no one ever expected him to ever run past the line of scrimmage.
I mean, yeah. So, Matt Ryan, by the way, was at training camp in Atlanta last week.
That's right.
With his sons. Pretty cool to see. Very, very cool to see. So, college ball in full swing. Lee, we were talking about how high school ball is basically here. We are less than, 3 weeks away from being able to watch game 1. Okay? Game 1, less than 3 weeks away. Dogs don't have a fun schedule to me until you hit Florida, Auburn.
Yeah.
Ole Miss coming to town.
It's a good problem to have, I guess, if you're a Georgia fan.
So you might be a little bored for the first few weeks. Might not get too much excitement, but there's nothing more amazing than thinking that being 4-0 or 5-0 is boring or 6-0 is boring.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I would love to be bored again as a college football fan.
I know. All right. Now, we don't talk about the Dream very often, Liam. This might be the first time I've ever talked about the Dream on here.
You think so?
The Atlanta Dream, the WNBA team here in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Welcome if you don't know that they exist. They're here. Lee, this was your topic. This was Lee's chosen topic.
Yeah,
Talk
dude,
to
they're you know what? We like to give credit where credit is due, and they are having a good season.
Okay, let's go.
All right, they're 15-13, and I know that doesn't sound amazing, but they're above 500, and last year they only had 14 wins all season long. So, they've already surpassed last year's win total. Pretty cool. They win last night against the Indiana Fever 82-73, and I think they had Alicia Gray and Ryan Howard were both in double digits in scoring, and I think last night, let's see, when I was
Ryan Howard's a stud. She continues to be a stud.
She's had 9. This was her 9th game of 20 plus points or more.
So good. Out of Kentucky, they're
yes.
number 1 pick, right?
Yes.
Last season, rookie season. Now this is year 2 for her, and she is just doing so well. Also, shout out to the fans, okay? I'm going to tell you why. Their 10th sellout of the season yesterday.
Yeah.
So,
it's a fun atmosphere over there.
Yeah, they've topped their 22 record for full capacity games. They're on track to sell out most home games this year. So, shout out to the fans that are going to the WNBA games and enjoying some good basketball from a team that's improving. This is great for them. You love to see it.
Let's see. So they're 5th right now in the Eastern Conference. Let's see, their team leaders, and this is from ESPN.com.
And they're building, right? They're building.
Yeah, they're building. Let's see. So their team leader in points is Alicia Gray, 17.7, and then right behind her is Ryan Howard at 17.6. So 10th of a point off. And then, let's see. It's just, I thought it was really cool what they were doing last night, because if you ever go to a game, it's a fun atmosphere. It's a smaller arena.
It's unique.
But it's packed.
Yeah.
And energy, DJs, dancing, songs, everything.
Club.
It's a party.
Dream.
It's a party. And it's a party in College Park.
It's a party in College Park.
It is.
Tanisha Wright, their head coach, she was named WNBA Coach of the Month for July.
Yeah.
They went 8-3 during that month. They had 6 straight wins to start off the season. It included a record-setting 112 points and a win over Los Angeles July 2nd. She led the team to critical wins that put them back over 500. So listen, they're doing the right thing right now, and I think the only thing the Dream have to do at this point, Lee, is stay consistent. That's the thing is like last year we saw flashes of greatness from them. You're like, oh my gosh, Ryan Howard's balling. This club is turning around. And then they couldn't keep up with that momentum. So for me, if they are able to stay consistent with their play, I think that they'll be able to become one of the best teams. But that's super hard. Like I'm saying it like it's easy.
Yeah.
That's very hard to accomplish in any sport, not just the WNBA.
Well, well, and also like the problem too is like the top 3 teams in the East all have like what 20 wins, over 20 wins already.
Yeah, baby steps, and
Yeah.
having that arena
So we got a
has
little way to go,
certainly helped them.
little way to go, but certainly improving. Kind of crazy. We woke up yesterday. Everybody
you
start
cry?
their day. They got their coffee.
From
They
Starbucks?
well, from somewhere. They got their coffee. They got their coffee. They're turning on the news, whatever, you know. Oh, and then they see the U.S. women's national team lost to Sweden in the World Cup.
Womp womp.
Womp womp womp. You're correct.
So they're out.
So it was 0-0. Goes to penalty kicks. They lose 5-4. Oh man, what a tough way to lose. You hit, God, what's it? Kelly O'Hara hit the crossbar, not the crossbar, the post, the far post. Oh,
Heartbreaking.
well, I mean, when you won the last 2 in a row,
And they fought so hard
they did. They
to get equal pay and to do all the things. And they were like, listen, like we win more than the men and this. And listen, I'm not fighting that they shouldn't have equal pay.
Yeah.
They should absolutely have equal pay. This is not the discussion here. But they fought so hard to get that. And you just hate to see that they lost because like I would have loved for them to continue to get paid.
well, it
Could you imagine the bonuses though? You like if you win, all the
yes.
things that come
Yeah,
along
all
with
the
it.
incentives, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was just crazy because like they didn't score a goal in regulation. What, 3 matches?
Yeah.
2 matches,
Yeah.
at least 2. I can't remember if it was a third one
They
too.
seem so disconnected to me. I don't know
yeah,
this, but
something
they just,
was off. I
like,
don't know what it
something-
was.
They weren't gelling. It seemed like they're just bad juju. But you know, the unfortunate thing here is, yes, they lost and they're out. But for me, had they continue to go on and win, more people would get interested in number 1, the sport of soccer, and number 2, like lady sports, like women's sports.
Yeah.
So that's what's a bummer for me because you love to see when like a nation's rallying behind women's sports because like men it's automatic like the nation rallies behind men's sports no matter what, but with the women for me especially, I'm a woman, I can say this, Lee, you probably can't, you know, I think that it's a positive thing, so you hate to see it because the interest kind of goes away. And in any other country, as you know, that you go to, soccer is like numero uno, and here it takes the back seat to everything else.
Yeah.
And I always say this, it's the number 1 sport that kids play. And there's such a drop off. Like every kid, like girls to boys, it doesn't matter the gender, you play soccer when you're a kid. And then all of a sudden,
'Cause all you
there's
need-
a drop off.
Well, all you need is a ball and a net, 2 nets. So
Yeah.
that's I mean, it's the easiest to play because if it's the most convenient.
And like, let's be honest, it's not. You can put kids. And I will say, you could put kids out on a field, but on the pitch, but they might not really play. A lot of kids.
No
just
way. Oh yeah.
stand
Oh yeah.
and like pick the grass out from the
Yes.
from the ground. I mean, it's amazing. But I hate to see that they lost. But you know, for me, and what's on my mind is. We stick with football in my mind. My mind always stays
Of course it does.
with the football.
We're only gonna have 6 more months to talk about it.
I know. Well, you know, Lee, we finally get to see the Falcons in a preseason game, right? So
Yeah.
they play at Miami on the 11th. They're down there right now, or if they're not there yet, they're on their
Traveling,
way.
yeah.
They have joint practices on the 8th and the 9th at the Dolphins facility. So what's on my mind is what are we going to see from the Falcons and Dolphins?
Hopefully better defense.
From the Falcons.
From the
he's
Falcons.
talking about.
Sorry.
All right, guys, we'll do this again tomorrow, but y'all have a great night. Thank you for listening to us. And Lee,
All
I
right.
promise one day we'll stop talking about how great Georgia is, okay? When they stop being great, we'll stop talking about their greatness.
3-peat, anybody? Okay, cool.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.